Hey guys, so this past weekend I made a trip down to New York City and I want to share with you my pickups for the trip. So those of you who are viewing this and are from Canada know just how hard it is to grab a pair of Ultra Boost up here. So even though I do own the triple white 1.0s, I couldn't resist grabbing a pair of the 2.0s for my collection. My initial thoughts on these are that they're definitely a really clean shoe. You can't go wrong with all white. In my personal opinion, I do prefer the 1.0 with the black sole instead of this white one. Though I do have to say that the prime knit on the 2.0s are actually more of a pure white color compared to the 1.0s, where those are a bit more of a cream off-white color. If you guys know me, you'll know I'm a big fan of the Nike Flyknit Racer. One of the colorways that I missed out on was the Game Royals. So when I saw these sitting at Foot Locker for a reduced price, it was a no-brainer for me to pick these up. So these were my second pickup for the trip. As you can see, the Flyknit combination is a mix of a pink and a blue color, and together it blends to look like a really bold purple color, which absolutely pops when you wear it on your feet. The weekend that I went to New York City, I unfortunately didn't really check the weather. So it turned out that the entire weekend that I was there, it ended up raining. So being that I only packed a pair of Flyknit Racers and my Pirate Black Yeezy Boost 350s, I ended up having to find a backup plan because of all the rain and the puddles that I was walking throughout the city. So I ended up going to the Flight 23 store that's located next to the Foot Action on 34th Street. And I ended up grabbing a pair of these 23 New York Jordan 1s. So these were exclusive to the Flight 23 store in New York. And as you can see on the heel, it says 23 and New York. And then on the tongue, there's the Jumpman, but under it, instead of Air, you'll see NYC, which represents New York City. So I ended up wearing these basically the entire trip, and they held up amazing. So the quality on these are pretty decent. The leather around the toe and on the heel is quite soft, and the fact that they're black and gray based meant that I didn't have to worry about them getting wet or getting muddy or getting dirty throughout my trip. So my last pickup in New York City was actually a complete surprise. So I strolled into a Finish Line store, and on the shelf were these. So these are the Ultra Boost multicolor version 2.0. So the first version had the multicolor around this toe area, but this 2.0 has it all across the toe itself. So as I said, this was a complete surprise. I was just walking through Finish Line, looked up at the shelf and saw these chilling up there, asked for my 10.5 and boom, they had it. So I think these are actually really, really dope. If you ever get to hold a pair of these and see them up close, you can see how much variation in color there is in the toe box and all the different shades of yarn that's used in the prime knit. So there was actually a shoe that I was looking to pick up in New York, but I ended up missing out on it. So a few days before my trip, I was actually browsing flightclub.com and I noticed that they had my 10.5 in the Kyrie 2 Effects. So that's a shoe that I've been looking for months because I missed out on it when it first dropped. So seeing it online for a reasonable price in my size, my mindset was ready. I was ready to go down to Flight Club New York, go down, grab my 10.5 and call it a day. When I ended up going to Flight Club and asking the salesperson if they still had my size, they actually told me that that 10.5 sold just a few hours before I had gotten there. So I guess if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. So that wraps up my recap of my New York City sneaker pickups. As always, be sure to follow me on Instagram at SGO8, as I'll be posting a lot of shots of these shoes individually in the next few weeks. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.